Design isn't about beauty, it's about power. Here's how politics weaponize it. Every color, font, and layout in politics serves a purpose, and it's not what you think. From subtle ballot changes that have swayed elections to the calculated use of colors like blue for trust or red for fear, design isn't innocent, it's power. You'll see real-life examples like how Florida's infamous 2000 butterfly ballot led to massive confusion. Plus, learn why this matters today when even online ads are designed to influence your emotions and how you can spot the tricks before they work on you. We've already established that in the political sphere, every detail of visual communication can be devised to influence our feelings and decisions. But what exactly is this influence? Why and how can design sway public opinion? Have you heard about the butterfly ballot in Florida, which confused voters so much in the 2000 election that some cast their ballot for the wrong candidate? It turned out that just one controversial design impacted the final outcome in one of the country's most influential states. If one poorly designed ballot could alter the course of history, imagine how powerful design tools become when used deliberately and professionally. Why is design in politics more than just aesthetics? Design isn't just decor. It's a form of communication that shapes emotional perception. The human brain reacts to visual cues sometimes faster than to factual information. And where is the line between marketing and design and outright manipulation? The unfortunate part is that there's no clear line. Every act of communication is a form of influence. Influence is basically a synonym for manipulation. Every thought, every word. These are ways we affect the world around us. That's the standard excuse, and I hope you don't buy into it, because the line does exist wherever we decide to draw it. For me, it's obvious. If design or marketing doesn't directly lie, but most people walk away with the wrong impression, meaning the facts get so packaged that they lead to a misleading conclusion. Then it's manipulation. For example, the Fortnite shop has examples of both approaches. When they show you the beauty of a new skin or hire celebrities for advertising or plaster that design all over the main menu, it might be annoying, but it's not necessarily manipulation. However, if you didn't intend to buy anything and you expected to click on an item to read more details, but the click triggers an immediate purchase, that's manipulation. Or if an ad suggests that a particular skin grants some advantage beyond mere appearance, with vague motivational wording in the item description, it can quietly plant the idea in your mind based on certain design cues that you'll get something that you really won't. For reference, Fortnite eventually had to pay up for such tactics and remove them from the interface, thanks largely to Harry Bergnall and his company Deceptive Patterns. According to Pelevan 2015, major political parties purposefully use design elements to evoke the desired emotions and associations in voters. That proves color or form choices aren't random, but the result of careful planning. This is backed up by another study, Howard, 1984, which demonstrated that color schemes directly influence readability and message retention. If you're picturing sinister Moriarty-like masterminds hatching elaborate schemes, the reality is much more mundane. Evil often is banal, so here it's just ordinary data analysts, typical marketing staff, and digital data sets that let you conduct A/B tests, looking for metrics to confirm or refute hypotheses. That's how they build a set of rules to run political campaigns. That's also why, even though designs may look bland and similar at first glance, the budgets for these firms are enormous because it's usually pure data-driven design. It's the kind of extreme where huge volumes and large budgets eliminate any real creativity or humanity. Design in politics is simultaneously a tool of persuasion and of manipulation. When we see campaign posters, party logos, or meticulously polished campaign websites, we don't always realize they aim not only to inform us, but also to spark a particular feeling: trust, fear, pride, or conversely rejection. But so far we've mostly circled around these fundamentals. We can talk a lot about intent, messaging, overtone windows for promoting ideas, though that can be controversial. But since this channel is about design, let's ask, if design is so crucial, why do different parties take different approaches? Why do some parties prefer warm colors and others cool tones? Why do different candidates need distinct font styles? What associations do color and typography evoke in an audience? According to Howard in 1984, black text on a bright contrast background, like yellow, is most memorable. That's why campaigns aiming for instant recall go for high contrast, But don't think it's just about easier readings. On a subconscious level, a bright background signals urgency and seriousness. How exactly it works isn't as important to us right now as the fact that it does work, which we see confirmed by research. Now imagine if the font is also unusual, sparking a slight sense of surprise. On one hand, it can grab attention, but on the other, if your audience is conservative, that bold choice may repel them. That's how subtle the interplay of color and font can be. Why do political campaigns pick specific color schemes? Color is basically the quickest way to evoke emotion. Red conveys energy, passion, and sometimes danger. Blue signals trust and stability. Green stands for nature and environmental care. By selecting certain colors, campaigns are in essence telling us about the values they want to project. Many designers know it's not always so straightforward when you're working on more complex design formats. Context can determine how a color is perceived rather than the other way around. But in simple, straightforward campaigns, these color signals are very powerful. In some countries, red may symbolize revolutionary spirit, whereas elsewhere it's seen as a marker of traditional conservatism. That's why the choice of color palette is never accidental. It's based on how the specific region's audience interprets certain shades. But if color is clear enough, we can interpret it both as designers and consumers of political ads. What about fonts? Is there a similarly direct association? A font can convey the candidate's voice or character just as effectively as the content of the text. An aggressive, grotesque font with sharp edges can underscore determination. A softer, rounded font can foster a sense of an approachable, open politician. Some fonts conjure up images of official documents, think Times New Roman, boosting the impression of legitimacy. Others, more user-friendly, like Helvetica, seem modern and appeal to younger voters, which is funny when you consider this font's storied history. If color is the politician's suit, then the font is their vocal intonation. Seeing a poster with bold, slightly aggressive letters might make you feel the candidate is speaking loudly and decisively. A rounder typeface conversely implies gentleness and willingness to compromise. Serif fonts historically linked to print media and official documents. Choosing a serif font, a candidate is essentially saying, I am part of a tried and true system. You can trust me. It also evokes associations with institutional power. Courts, parliaments, and academia often use serif fonts to reinforce authority and status. Sans serif fonts suggest modernity and innovation. They're tied to tech companies and youth culture. A sans serif style tells voters the candidate is keeping pace with the times and is open to change. They're also easier to read on digital screens, crucial in today's online campaigns. This hints to voters that the candidate is a 21st century figure. According to Billard 2016 and 2018, political teams carefully plan color or font combinations to craft a candidate's image that resonates with the target audience. This is a practical, tangible part of how specific fonts and colors exert influence. It seems like a good moment to note that we have a LinkedIn profile where we share very practical design tips. Here we discuss theory, there you'll find inspiration and hands-on advice. Check the link in the description and follow us. Remember the 2016 campaigns where supporters of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump actively created their own posters and slogans in all sorts of fonts and colors. This shows how design can engage people and give them a sense of co-ownership. When you see a campaign poster in bold red tones with a big gritty font, you feel the raw energy bursting through the image. Meanwhile, if a poster uses a calm blue with a classic font, the message is more composed. We're here for constructive work, we're in it for the long haul. So choosing a color scheme and a font in politics isn't just about aesthetics or style, it's a powerful tool for shaping the candidate's image and emotional climate. Every leaflet, webpage, or logo is designed intentionally with psychological cues and voter habits in mind. But how do these elements unite into a cohesive political brand? In the next block, we'll see why certain choices, like the red, white, and blue palette in the US, have stayed the same for decades, and why different parties strive to integrate national symbolism with their own twist. Think about why American candidates' logos have mostly featured red, white, and blue over the past half-century, from 1968 to 2016. According to Babel 2016, that palette underscores national identity and appeals to patriotism, which voters traditionally hold in high regard. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. A true political brand is a unified system that includes everything: slogans, symbols, photography style, and even the tone of communication. Bible in 2016 analyzed 171 US presidential campaign logos over 5 decades and found that national colors and symbols, stars, stripes, eagles, remain consistent, as they convey the notion of national unity. Still, each new cycle introduces nuances reflecting current sentiments. For instance, if people want change, you'll see a focus on dynamic shapes and brighter shades of red or blue. If stability is the theme, candidates lean on traditional fonts and more subdued colors. Bullard, 2018, discovered that in 2016, the Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump campaigns actively encouraged fan-made designs. Supporters customized posters, changed fonts, and added personal messages and memes. That sense of involvement intensified supporters' loyalty. As a result, the candidate's brand transcended an official style and became a living community that everyone could contribute to. Previously, the political brand was mainly forged through mass media, TV, outdoor ads, press, but now social media enables real-time feedback. You can quickly see which visuals click with voters and which don't. That agility allows teams to fine-tune strategies on the fly, testing new colors, slogans, or brand elements almost instantly. Hence, political branding is far more than a logo or a well-chosen palette. It's a complete system where every detail, from slogans to social media engagement, builds a recognizable, emotionally charged image for a candidate or a party. Yet we haven't addressed the big question: how does all this affect you personally as a voter? And most importantly, how can you spot manipulations and protect yourself from them? We'll discuss this in the final segment, where we'll wrap up and examine what we, as viewers and citizens, can do to avoid being mere pawns in someone else's game. After all, sometimes influence crosses the line and becomes outright propaganda. That's where historical context is key. Examples from Chinese and Soviet posters, the iconic look of Cuban revolutionaries, all illustrate how visual imagery can become a symbol of an era and an ideology. Take a look at Cultural Revolution posters in China, 1966-1976. Bright reds, depictions of workers with raised fists, and an over-the-top sense of zeal all served one clear purpose: uniting the populace around Mao Zedong's ideas and instilling a sense of pride and mass participation. Similar principles appeared in Soviet poster art. Slogans like "For the Motherland," "For Stalin," or "Everybody Vote" were illustrated with bold, heroic figures, frequently using red as a symbol of revolutionary spirit and collective power. Again, the visual language reinforced patriotism and confidence in the chosen cause. If we look at the clothing and image of Cuban revolutionaries, for instance, the trademark beret and military attire of Che Guevara or Fidel Castro, it became far more than just a style. Che's iconic photograph in a black beret spread worldwide, effectively becoming the logo of the Cuban Revolution, still an enduring icon of protest and resistance. All these examples, Chinese, Soviet, Cuban, demonstrate that design, clothing, and a leader's appearance can embody an ideology. Visual symbols sink deep into people's minds, creating a sense of belonging to something grand. Sometimes that truly inspires and unites, yet it can also be used for manipulation and control. How do we recognize manipulation and avoid it? The secret is simple. We, designers, already have an antidote. I often browse websites and ads, as I'm sure most of you do. Not because I intend to buy that fantastic vacuum, but because I'm building visual literacy. And for that, it's not just the slick Behance case studies that matter, but also the everyday, often unattractive, yet massive ad campaigns. So when you see any political ad, regardless of your own views, activate your inner designer and ask, why so much red here? Why is the contrast so dramatic? Or why so minimalistic? By asking such questions, you learn to read the emotional subtext. Compare the images with well-known patriotic or revolutionary symbols. Campaigns often borrow proven methods because they spark recognizable emotions. Consider who is producing this visual piece and why. If the poster is created by a state or party-run agency, there's likely a specific ideological aim. If it's an independent artist's initiative, there could be different or more critical messages. Match your emotional reaction with rational thinking. If a picture or slogan instantly makes you feel a surge of pride or anger, or even brings you to tears, there's a good chance someone's pushing your buttons. Ask yourself, are there facts to back this intense emotion? And once you calm down, say to yourself, wow, they got me. How and why? Could I learn to provoke such strong responses in my own designs? From historical posters to modern digital campaigns, political design has always been and remains a powerful tool of influence. It can inspire and unite, but it can also mislead, causing people to believe falsehoods. Our task is to look at visual cues with a critical eye, ask questions, cross-check sources, pick up on context. The more we understand how and why these symbols are used, the lower the chance we'll be led astray by emotional manipulation or propaganda. In this sense, to fully grasp how and why such designs work, look beyond political ads. There's a clear trend of modern brands becoming more unified, preferring crisp, clear messages in their graphics. We already mentioned Helvetica in connection to its associations. Another relative is Futura, which underpins PayPal's rebranding. Learning why and how this font matters helps you better understand how to use such tools in your designs. So, see you in the PayPal video.